Hello once again, all my fellow patriots and you filthy, disgusting leftist stalkers out there. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Angela Box. You're watching Angela's Soapbox, where I say what you are thinking. I did not do a video last week. May have noticed, may have not. The world goes on, as they say. I don't know about y'all, but I am really burnt out on everything right now. We've had 3.5 years of filthy leftists trying to destroy Donald Trump. Couple that with the last 100 years of them trying to destroy this country. And this pandemic scam and nonsense, this never-ending BS. I'm just kind of over it. And I know, like you realize this will be done the day after the election. So I guess we have a few more months to hang on while the left tries to destroy us and just try and get through it. But before we begin, if you're not a subscriber to this channel, I would sure appreciate it if you'd hit the subscribe bell, share my content, do all the other crap YouTube wants you to do. Now, this week, I had the pleasure of meeting a fan, if you will, at a local restaurant. And her name was Miriam, and she said that her husband was a big fan of this channel and me, and I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. So shout out to Miriam's husband, and thank you so much for your support. And I really support all law enforcement officers, and he happens to be a law enforcement officer. And so Godspeed to you, sir, and I wish you only the best, you and Miriam. So thank you, and thank you, Miriam, for being so kind. It was really a pleasure. All right. Okay, every week on my channel, I like to give away a plastic straw to a filthy leftist. I shouldn't say give away. Dedicate a plastic straw to a filthy leftist. And because I didn't do a video last week, I'm going to go ahead and link last week's article down below, which is entitled, Filthy Leftists Are Why We Can't Have Nice Things. And that's really true. And, you know, it's funny. It's like I didn't write an article this week. I didn't do a video last week. And nothing ever changes. Like, the left is still awful and they're still coming for us full steam ahead. So this week, the straw goes to their filthy, toxic diapers that they're making us wear. Do you like what it says here? Propaganda. I walked in with this baby into Walmart because woke Walmart has decided to throw in with the filthy leftists and make everyone wear this stupid thing. So I wrote that on my mask, and it's dedicated to them. So let's raise our Diet Cokes to the filthy leftists who make us wear toxic diapers around our faces. And to that end, at first I was I'm still disappointed that Governor Abbott fell in line with this scam, and it is a complete scam because there have been, the studies that have been done about the masks show that they're not effective at all at stopping anything, much less a virus that's 0.1 micrograms or something like that. I mean, science and math is hard, but even I can understand that a piece of paper or a cloth that has no control on it, and there's all kinds of different kinds of papers and cloths and masks, and that's not stopping anything. In fact, there was a study done, now it was a small study, but it was in South Korea, where they had people with the Rona, and they coughed into a petri dish, wearing a mask and then not wearing a mask. And what do you know? In both instances, the Rona got on the petri dish. So it doesn't stop anything, people. It just makes you feel better. But at first, and I'm still upset with Governor Abbott for throwing in on this. And then this week, Trump changed his tune and said, oh, you know, you should wear a mask if you can't social distance. And at first I was annoyed and like, oh, come on, not you at too, Trump. But he's being very clever because, as we know, anyone paying attention understands that the whole reason for this entire scam, this entire COVID push, is to get the mail-in balloting, which they know that that's the only way they can really cheat. And they're going full steam ahead to try and get the mail-in balloting. But, and here's the rub, if masks work and they make you safe, then why couldn't you stand in line to vote? There it is. That's why Trump did this. Kind of brilliant, actually. Speaking of the filthy leftists trying to keep everything shut down, blue states are continuing the tantrum, saying they don't want to go open schools, open anything up. And California is particularly egregious. And unfortunately, I used to live there and don't miss it at all, by the way. But the teachers' unions there, I mean, they don't care about teaching kids. They care about, making their 150 grand a year and have all the time and paid off and blah, 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 and their teacher's aides. You should, listen, if you've worked in a state that has teacher unions versus one who doesn't, I'm telling you, man, they are hooked up. And I'm not saying a lot of teachers do not earn it, because I used to be a teacher, and I'm telling you, people have no idea what teachers deal with. But the things the teachers in California are trying to ask for to go back to school to do their job are outrageous. So I don't know if you've heard this, but the teachers in California want Medicare for all, they want to defund the police, and they want hazard pay. So these bizarre things that have literally nothing to do with going back to school. And what's so disgusting is that there's been study after study. The Western world is opening up except America. Why? Because there's an election in America and they're going back to school and everything's fine. But yet in America, I guess American children and illegal alien children, let's be honest, those are the ones in public school, they're just too delicate to go back to school, according to the California Teachers Union. I mean, the left is just, they're being exposed left and right. The left is being exposed left and right. It is true. Speaking of the exposure that they are under, and Trump is, again, very brilliant for doing this. Finally, the federal government is going to be sending in federal agents to quell the violence in left-wing cities. Chicago, Portland, Seattle, Albuquerque, which, I mean, that was kind of new, but okay, yeah, it's run by filthy leftists, of course. Anyway, all these blue cities, which are completely falling apart, being run into the ground by Democrats. And it's such a great example of showing the people something and not telling the people. People, if they're going to make a change, have to feel the pain and they have to be shown what is really going on. You can't just say, hey, Democrats are trying to ruin your life and control everything you do, and they want to tax you into oblivion, and they want open borders, and they want illegal aliens taking everything, including your jobs, and they want schools to be indoctrination centers. No, I mean, I could go on and on. You have to show them. And what we're seeing right now that the left is doing throughout the country, I mean, it's just masks off now. Speaking of masks, here's what, wait, where did it go? Speaking of masks, here's what the left is doing now. Masks are off. They are showing themselves for the filthy freaks that they are. So Lori Lightfoot, who many affectionately call Beetlejuice, she's an interesting looking lady. Let's just leave it at that. The mayor of Chicago. She is basically threatening Trump if he sends in federal troops to help her do her job. This is what I think the left is so afraid of. That once federal agents come in and try and stop the nonsense, clear out the streets, like we're arresting these freaks. The games are done now, Antifa and Black Lives Matter. We're not playing with you anymore. You're not going to be able to throw Molotov cocktails and bricks and ruin people's businesses and graffiti everything. No, games are done now, children. So I think that what the left are so afraid of, they're screaming about civil liberties. Stupid. No, what they're worried about is that President Trump and the federal agents will come in and clean it up real quick. And it will show just how corrupt and deceitful and terrible these Democrats who run these cities truly are. That's what they're afraid of. Remember, it's all about the election. It's all about getting rid of Trump. And if Trump can come in like a boss, like he always does, and cleans it up, it's not going to be too good for them. Now, I could go on about 4 or 5 different other things, but I really am trying to keep these videos under 10 minutes and won't quite make it, but I'm going to get close this week. I don't know if y'all have seen in the hubbub lately on Twitter about QAnon. Now, for those of you not familiar with QAnon, I have linked a bunch of information down below, and I'm going to give this caveat. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's not true. But it sure is interesting, and it sure is intriguing. And it is it's a movement of patriotic people, a movement of unity, not division, a movement of God wins type of people who realize that there is evil in the world. There are evil people in the world, that are behind the scenes and right in front of our faces doing horrible things. And they've been running this country and they've been running the world for quite some time. And why President Trump is such an existential threat to them is because he literally is the only one who's come in and has brought back the curtain and has showed these people for what they are. Now, people say, oh, Q's just, they think everyone's a pedophile. Incorrect. Now, if you want to talk about a pedophilia ring, well, let's see, Ghislaine Maxwell's in prison and Jeffrey Epstein is dead. And there's a whole hell of a lot of people connected to them. And Q has talked about for a very long time that the reason Epstein was so powerful was because he had a lot of dirt on a lot of people. So that whole scheme and that setup is probably going to be determined that it's different governments involved, different intelligence agencies involved, let's say. And Q's been talking about that for a very long time. Now, no one is saying that we think, your dad down the street is a pedophile. No one is saying that. And so they try and disparage QAnon by saying outrageous things. But the main thing about QAnon that you have to understand is that it's a back channel for patriots to understand what's coming next. And some people think that Q is a group of about 5 or 6 people connected to President Trump. It is they believe it's a military intelligence operation that is bypassing the mainstream media. And it has gotten some real legs. So much so that Twitter and all the media is coming at it full force. They are banning accounts that have anything to do with QAnon or say Q. They're saying, everyone connected with Q is dangerous and they're violent extremists. Now, keep in mind, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Google, they have no problems at all with the terrorists of Black Lives Matter, the terrorists of Antifa, Hamas, literal pedophiles on Twitter, on their platform, out in the open saying that we're an organization that supports children, people who love children. I mean, I'm not even kidding. Like, it's sick stuff. All kinds of things wrapped up in the QAnon thing. But the left, the media is trying real hard to come after Q. And you gotta wonder if it's all BS, if it's just some, random one person, like, throwing out these little nuggets of information and all these people are running with it and making it into some big thing. Why are they coming after him if it's just a stupid conspiracy theory? Like, why do they care? I mean, are they coming after the groups that talk about Bigfoot or aliens or whatever? No, they're not. So it makes you wonder, the more the left tries to silence something and a movement, it makes normal people who maybe haven't been paying attention before go, why are they trying to shut this down? Like, maybe there's something to this. I'm just saying. So before this video is memory hold, hopefully you will be able to share this and check out the links I leave below to the QAnon movement if you're not familiar with it. Where we go one, we go all is a saying that people that follow Q or at least are open to Q say a lot, and I love saying that because it really is a message of unity, and it's a worldwide message of unity that patriots of all stripes. We want transparent government. We want good people in charge. We want bad people punished. This is not. It's not a fringe movement. It's a growing movement, and that's why the left is getting a little nervous about it. And also, it's interesting is that not one reporter, not one, they could put a stop to this today and put an end to all the Q channels and all the Q content today. All they would have to say is, President Trump, who is QAnon? What is QAnon? Do you know about QAnon? Do you think this is all BS or is this real? But they don't. And that should tell you something too. So guys, I have, lots more I could say about lots of things, but time marches on and my day has to march on. And I will leave you with one more thing. People that, think QAnon is, they're censoring Q. They're trying to kick off people that talk about Q. They're not cutting down the people or censoring people who, in Black Lives Matter, for example, post on social media the picture of themselves, a black person, stepping on the neck of a white baby. A white toddler about 2 years old. This has been making the rounds today. Has anything happened to that person? Has that person been deplatformed? Not yet, but I do believe they've been arrested. So be forewarned, terrorists of all stripes, your days are numbered. Black Lives Matter terrorists, Antifa terrorists, Democrat terrorists, we're coming for all of you. And eventually the truth will out and light will shine on your darkness. And that's the thing that you're worried about the most, isn't it? So until next time, America, make sure that whatever you do, wherever you are, make sure to torment a leftist. Everywhere you see them, anytime you can get in their faces, make sure to say, hey, how come I have to wear a mask in a restaurant when I'm walking to the bathroom, but not when I'm sitting down talking to my friends? Or how come I have to wear a mask if I want to go back to work, but not if I want to protest or riot? Logic. Not the left strong suit. But anyway, until next time, make sure to get in a leftist face and tell them what for. And you can tell them I sent you. See you next time. Bye.